He says I'm crazy, I'm lost on what to do. We've been together since high school, married 5 years. I'm 6 weeks pregnant with our third child. In 2018, right after having our second child, I noticed odd things. And I could deal with that. It's not like we could do anything. Shaving downstairs strange? As long as I'd known him, he never really shaved. I could easily chalk that up to paranoia. I was dealing with PPD pretty bad and feeling low. It's all in my head, right? One night, I've fallen asleep breastfeeding our month-old daughter. He flashes his phone in my face to see if I'm awake. I open my eyes and see messages from Sky on Snapchat, "You're so cute." He deflected, saying it's one of his friends and they're talking about our daughter. But I knew what I saw, and I never forgot. Anytime I brought it up, I was called crazy. I eventually went through his phone, seeing she lived in the neighborhood across from us. We don't know a single person in this area, we're states away from our home state. He started Ubering after being laid off from his oil field job as we needed to make ends meet. I was immediately suspicious. After bringing it up, screenshots I had sent to myself were deleted from my phone, and he tried to convince me it never happened. From then, he has been extremely secretive with his phone. Eventually he said it was a random ad, and that he blocked her. Time passes, we move hours away from there. I catch him talking to her again. I leave the house to calm down, and he sends me an obviously cleared screen recording of his messages. He continued to tell me I'm crazy for even thinking he would cheat. Thanksgiving 2019, I see a month-old message request on Facebook. A girl alleging he had messaged her on Facebook, got her Snapchat, and tried to send and receive nudes. She blocked him, realized he's in a relationship, and messaged me. He claimed he was being set up, and that I'd be insane to believe someone I don't know over him. Her messages were deleted and he blocked her from my account. I've caught him talking on the phone to a girl, locked in a bathroom and drunk, while I'm trying to sleep for my early morning shift. He said it was just his buddies on the group chat and I made myself look crazy. I eventually noticed that Siri has a feature that allows you to search for apps on a locked phone. I used it, noticing his most frequently used app was Snapchat, which he claimed he didn't use, and I noticed he had various meet people apps. But not your typical dating apps. I would find his account on these apps, very flattering pictures of himself with interests listed. He was active on them. When he noticed I found out he saw through my catfishing, this search feature was turned off. Anytime any of this got brought up, either through concern or during an argument, I was scoffed and laughed at. I was called insane and delusional. Now I did something to betray his trust. I hung out with someone I had met. I didn't see it sexually, and I didn't touch him. We maybe chatted for 20 minutes on my front porch and he left. My husband found out, and told me he had indeed been meeting and chatting with women for over 3 years, since I had first seen Sky. He's tried to convince me what I did was infinitely worse, as he just had a bad habit. We resolved to work it out, promising each other transparency and to rebuild our trust and relationship. He has full transparency from me, I don't get the same from him. Promises he made, like deleting Snapchat, continue to have new contingencies. I'll delete when I get my pictures off of it too. I'll delete it when I feel like things are getting better to delete your Facebook. After the 30 days are up, I'll delete my Snapchat. Phone usage more secretive than ever. I try not to pick those fights, though. I wonder if it's still going on. I've tried to find a pie or something. I want to see him in action. I've tried finding him on various sites and apps, as I know his usual usernames, but I believe he's changed it up. His phone only delivers notifications from Messenger and iMessage, the rest are hidden. And I know this, because I saw him using Snapchat, and after deleting things I'm pretty sure, as it was 20 minutes later and he wouldn't go into friends list, Snap Map, or save to photos, he showed me his messages. Some recent from friends, that never make it his lock screen. I'm not even sure if it's worth it anymore. I love him, I've always been his biggest cheerleader and still am today. But his continual secrecy, convincing me that I'm crazy and constant dismissal of my feelings is driving me nuts. I just want to know. Maybe if I know, I'll be strong enough to do something about it. Instead of apologizing constantly, and trying to make him love me again, I feel lost. Redditor's reactions story 2 after. Redditor 1, why? Just why? Why do you pretend to yourself that you almost have caught him cheating? You know he is. And you know he refuses even the pretense of matching your trust-building measures like deleting apps. Why? Why do you ask what you should do? Because you know what you should do. Answer, you're right, I do know. I feel immensely committed, and truly love him. We've built a life, we've been through so much together. We've even been searching for a house to buy. We're about to have another child. I want him to just stop. I don't know how to get that across. I don't know how to do that. I really want to believe that he still loves me, enough to truly commit to bettering things. To stop. It's a difficult decision to leave, I guess. Redditor 2, SDSRT and exit plan. He is not worth the angst Heb is putting you through. Redditor 3, this is probably as abusive as a relationship can get. He's a serial cheater and has done everything possible to destroy your mental health. Read why does he do that? And please get as far away from this despicable human as possible so you have a real chance at happiness and healing. He's a horrible example for your kids. He only serves to draw your mental health down. Redditor 4, I'm sorry sweetheart, he may care for you, but he doesn't love you. He's abusing you. And you endure it. I honestly think you could walk in on him having time in your marital bed, and he could convince you it didn't happen. Don't bother wasting money on a pie, he'll convince you it was all an elaborate hoax and never happened. I'm being harsh BC, I'm so incredibly sad for you and enraged at your husband. You signed up for monogamy, your marriage is missing all key ingredients to thrive, trust, honesty, forgot to include respect and fidelity. Why do you want this? You came here for advice on how to get him to stop cheating, he won't, not likely ever. Nothing you can do to stop him. He's an abuser with a willing victim you. He's not a good person and has no incentive to stop cheating BC. Your reaction to all his abuse has been approval of his behavior. You're terribly codependent and have little to no self-esteem. My heart breaks for you. Please seek MH services. You deserve to be treated with kindness, love and respect. You are so unhappy right now, why do you want to stay married to him? You may be trauma bonded to your husband as behaves monstrously towards you, but you've made him the center of your universe. Your recourse is simple as stay, continue this insanity, drive yourself crazy, live a lifetime of misery stay, accept you have an one-sided open marriage, turn a blind eye and cross fingers he doesn't bring you home an incurable disease C. Leave him and file for divorce. Get professional mental health, learn to love yourself, take your children out of a bad environment. There is a small possibility leaving him will cause him to want to change, but your husband is a serial cheater and an overall terrible person, so unlikely that'll last long. I pray you someday stop lying to yourself about the nightmare you're living. Find happiness someone else. You will never find it your current WH. Wishing you all the best. Story 2, Mom cheated on my dad for 3 years and told us after the guy she was cheating with Caleb himself. My mom called my dad one day hysterical and told him her friend from the dog park was dead. She said the man killed himself because of her while sobbing to my father on the phone. The man committed suicide the same day of the call to my father while my dad was out of town with me. My dad was destroyed, as was I and the rest of my family. My mother used the dog as a shield to divert attention from any suspicion of infidelity. She would spend a couple hours out with the dog in the evenings and then come home and hop in bed with my dad or join the rest of the family on the couch like nothing was going on. She even had the audacity to tell my dad she didn't have to tell him. Also, the guy was nearly 20 years older than my mom and she has been married to my father for over 30 years. 2. Not sure how much more detail I want to add, but the story is even more messed up than I have disclosed so far. Is it okay that I hate my mother for lying and deceiving me and the rest of the family for years? Edit 3. Found out the affair was closer to 6 years than 3. Around when the puppy turned 1 and started going to the dog park. Update. My mom 50F cheated on dad 57F after 29 years of marriage. I want to tell the story of my ducked up situation and provide an update a year later. So about a year ago I was in my 26 first house painting my kitchen with my dad, who I have been very close with. My mom called my dad while my dad was at my place helping me paint, and she was hysterical and told him her friend from the dog park was dead. She said the man killed himself while sobbing to my father on the phone. The man committed suicide prior to the call to my father while my dad was out of town with me. He was very confused, but then my mom told him they have been having an affair in her panic. My dad was destroyed, as was I and the rest of my family. My mother used the family dog as a shield to divert attention from any suspicion of infidelity. Since then, she admitted the affair has been ongoing for the last 5 or so years. She would spend a couple hours out with the dog in the evenings and then come home and hop in bed with my dad or join the rest of the family on the couch like nothing was going on. She even had the audacity to tell my dad she didn't have to tell him. The guy was nearly 20 years older than my mom, and she was been married to my father for 29 years. It's been a year now and I ducking hate her. Edit. If you want to check out the previous post from a year ago, check this profile. This has been a throwaway for obvious reasons, so that's the only other post. Redditor's reaction. Story 3 after. Redditor 1. Dude, your mother is just a mess. Be with your dad and help him to get out of it. Redditor 2. The audacity of her calling your dad to cry on his shoulder that her cheating partner died is just incredible. Redditor follow-up. Cheaters contact the person they know they can count on when it hits the fan for them. Really sucks. They literally fall back on the very person who they were actively betraying. Story 3. How I've been coping. The love of my life is dead. Hey y'all. I just want to share something that has helped me cope, and it may help you as well. My wife, the woman I loved more than anything for 10 years, left me for 2 mutual friends whom she had also been having an emotional affair with. So, as you all know, the pain, anger, and sadness are indescribable. But here's something that has helped me a lot. When I look at her recent photos, she looks pure evil. I don't know how else to put it. She just has a negative aura now. But when I look at our older pictures, I see a woman who was kind, loving, and so selfless. I see the new her, and I see the old her. When I thought about them being together, I used to get so jealous and angry, because I was imagining the old her being with them. But that person no longer exists. That person has died and is replaced by someone completely malevolent who is only the same in physical appearance except the weight gain Lamau. So now when those mental images pop into my head, I remind myself that they have the new her. The city her. I want nothing to do with that woman, they can have her. I enjoyed years of love and happiness with the woman she once was, but she is now gone. I'm happy I got to live in love with her until she passed. I will always cherish those times, and this new monster will not destroy that. I will remember her for what she was in my heart. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1. I've tried that. But my focus was always on the person I knew, loved, and would have died for. Your change of focus on remembering the one you loved with respect versus comparing the person she is now is a completely different approach. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you. It's been 5 years for me, and I miss her every day. But I've never said goodbye to her. Wish me luck. Redditor 2. I have never heard someone use cognitive reframing in such a manner. Not applicable to my own situation, but I have a buddy who this may help. So thank you in advance for this. Redditor 3. What you need to realize is the malevolent one you see in her most recent photos is the person she has been all along. It's the view behind her mask, the real her. Unfortunately, those that cheat are often adept liars who are master manipulators. They are the type of people that will stick the knife in while giving you the warmest of hugs. Be aware of all of her traits and use them to avoid people with similar characteristics. Redditor 4, I've gone through these scenarios. Until I realized that the person I truly loved in the beginning never really existed at all. It was a facade. Just a facade. The man I divorced, that's who he really was all along. It's a hard pill to swallow, because I will never be able to trust my own judgment again.